Good morning, everyone. Very excited to be here. Very intimidated also, but I don't see you a lot, so that's great. Actually, that's very helpful. So I'm very, very happy to talk a little bit about Gen Z and Gen Alpha today and how to engage them properly, like what is the right way to engage them. And then for that, I have Daniel joining me today, the director of marketing of 100 Thieves. So maybe can you introduce yourself a little bit first?
Yeah. Hello, everybody. This is actually my first brand Innovators, so I'm just super thankful to be here. Was very surprised they reached out to me to be here, but super excited. Just kidding. Okay. So yeah, I started in actually experiential marketing about 12 years ago for an agency called Freeman XP. They put on conventions like Consumer Electronics Show, San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con. And honestly, I just started as a paper pusher. And then I took on my first client and grew that on. And eventually, Lucasfilm was actually one of my clients. And I am a big Star Wars fan, have been since I was a wee lad. And they brought me over there to start doing experiential marketing for them. So what that consisted of was putting on premieres, actually here on Hollywood Boulevard, outside El Capitan, and then doing their own basically Star Wars convention. It's called Star Wars Celebration. I don't know if anybody's heard of it, but it's roughly like 150,000 Star Wars fans sitting on whatever city it's in, and for 4 or 5 days live and breathe Star Wars. And then COVID hit, unfortunately, and event jobs disappeared. So spent a short time just living life, and eventually got a shot at esports through some friends networking on basically X. Christina, she's somewhere in the crowd there. She gave me my shot in esports, so thank you for that. And that was with a company called Team Liquid, a very successful esports team. And then eventually made it over to 100 Thieves as their event person. And I've been there now for 3 years and just recently became the director of marketing.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And I know a lot of you already know like 100 Thieves, but maybe can you tell a little bit more exactly like what you are doing and more importantly, the history, how it was created and for who?
Yeah, so we're a pretty young company. We're founded in 2017 by a former Call of Duty pro, Matthew Nadeshot Haig. And we really started as an apparel company. And the goal of that was just to give basically gamers something to be proud to wear. He looked at the space and saw that there's an opportunity there to actually wear really cool stuff, apparel, and then took on esports teams. So now we own a Call of Duty team, a League of Legends team, and a Valorant team. And actually this morning we just signed what is deemed to our fans and the community as a super team in Call of Duty. So I'm very excited about the upcoming year. But we basically guide ourselves on 3 pillars, which is building championship esports, entertainment through our creators and content, and then apparel. So, yeah.
Yeah, amazing, and all for Gen Z and Gen Alpha.
Yeah, that's our main audience. That's what we build the company on. So we're interacting with them, minute by minute, hour by hour.
So let's talk a little bit about them now. So Gen Z, Gen Alpha, yes, this is the age. But how do you define them exactly outside the age range? Like, who do you think they are?
Yeah, so we look at this through a gaming and entertainment lens, which I think a lot of people here do. But just for show, how many people are actually gamers? Like mobile's gaming. So if you play Candy Crush and all that stuff, you're a gamer in my eyes. Okay, I can't see, but I think there's a lot of hands. But I've read studies and things like that. And Gen Z in particular, 80% of themselves consider themselves gamers. And for Gen Alpha, 60% of themselves consider themselves gamers. So we really are engaging almost that entire audience on a day-to-day basis. And so that's really one of our driving forces for success here at 100 Thieves, and something we basically build all of our campaigns around.
Well, that sounds great. What I find very interesting with Gen Z and Gen Alpha as a marketer, so far I only heard from marketers saying how difficult they are. They are a challenge to solve. They had an issue to understand. Like even David just say, I have a Gen Alpha at home, engaging them. How do I do that? And as a marketer, we always see them as a challenge, but in real life, they are awesome. They are fresh. They are dynamic. Can you tell a little bit more about like how awesome and dynamic they are?
Yeah. So, yeah, as you said, they're really great. They're highly intelligent. Digitally savvy. They've grown up with technology basically since they've been born. I mean, I still remember when the internet was invented, and I still remember doing like CD space, D to get to my games and things like that. So they don't have to deal with any of that. So they should be very thankful for that. But they also see through a lot of the BS, that brands try to feed them. They're smart. They've been fed ads basically since they were born, as they've been watching YouTube and things like that. They're really socially charged. I find that we need to put purpose behind everything that we do, because the way that they relate to brands is really as an identifier to who they are. So it's really important that we give purpose to everything that we're doing, and give them a reason to buy our products, interact with our content, be a part of our family.
Yeah, they are pretty incredible. I'm very lucky. I'm sitting on so many global campaigns with this audience, and something that they are also, it's like they are global. They are there, like Gen Z in Germany or in France or in Japan or in the US. They're almost the same. And when you look at that, like as an audience, it's very different. Another audiences will translate differently in other countries, but not them. So they are actually pretty amazing. Yeah. I find them incredible. So can I ask you like one little question? You said Gen Z and Gen Alpha. What is really for you the little difference between Gen Z and Gen Alpha? How the Gen Alpha is slightly different than the Gen Z that we're starting to already know a little bit better?
They move on such a rapid pace. Like I wrote down, I had some jokes in here, and I realized that they're already dated, like in the eyes of a Gen Alpha. Like if I mentioned I have a concept of a plan or things like that, that's like, to them, that's like 2 years. So you have to move like very rapidly. You have to stay ahead of a lot of the trends. I mean, I don't want to have a TikTok, but I have to have a TikTok. Because that's where they live and breathe. Everything is so rapid fire. The joke is like, if you see it on TikTok, you'll see it on Instagram the week later, kind of thing. Like that's how fast that they move. And if you aren't staying with that and being nimble and quick, then you're gonna miss your opportunity to connect with them.
And that's definitely a new skills that company needs to master, like being that fast. It's difficult to be fast. So you talk a little bit about like you need to have a purpose with them. You need to show authenticity. I think everyone heard that you need to be authentic. But my question for you today is like, how can you be authentic when you still have a brand to grow, when you still have a product to sell? How do you merge like authenticity with them and the purpose of the company?
Yeah, it's certainly not easy. But we found that being true to our brand and finding partners that really trust us as experts in the space, we found great success. I want to tell a quick story about one of our partner launches with the company Crocs. So they sponsor our League of Legends team. So they wear Crocs on stage. We have some custom ones. They're very cool. But we can't just like announce, hey, we're a partner with Crocs, and our fans are gonna be like, oh, cool, like that's awesome. Well, let's buy some Crocs. We actually have to introduce it in an authentic way. And the way we did this, I had just seen the movie Air, and the way that Michael Jordan, when he first got into the NBA, wore non-team issue Jordans, basically his own Jordans, and got fined every single game. Nike paid the fees. It was a really big deal. And so what we concepted with Crocs was we have a player who's 17. He's the youngest in the league. He's been waiting to get in the league. You have to be 17 to play. But he's our version of Michael Jordan, basically. And what we made is we made up a story where he was late to his match, couldn't find his shoes, loves Crocs, and wore Crocs sandals on stage. Now, what this did was get us fined. Uh, so the league was not happy with me, but we tweeted out. We ended up winning. We tried to pick a game where we would win, and thank goodness we did, because that would have made it a little more awkward. But we won, and we tweeted out that that was a very expensive win. Crocs, can you help us, kind of a thing. And Crocs responded like, hey, we got you. And then the next day, the whole team wore closed-toed Crocs, which actually doesn't get us fined. So the team in unison, basically, as a statement of unity, wore Crocs. Now, what the fans thought was just that this was the coolest thing ever, right? An authentic moment happened, and Crocs came to our rescue. But 3 days later, we announced our partnership with Crocs. So we were able to create a moment of authenticity, and our fans just thought that Crocs is the coolest thing because they came to our aid. And then that Monday, we launched basically a announcement video that was harken back to the Spike Lee, Nike, Jordan videos. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but it's got a certain style to it. So we tied all these things together and created a really amazing moment for Crocs and our brand. And it came across as very authentic. Our fans loved it. We created some custom 100 Thieves Crocs that I've gotten to give it away at watch parties and things like that. But it's those kinds of moments that you have to build in order to create that trust and authenticity to your fans and community, because otherwise they'll just see it as an ad. And so you really have to either identify the moments or create them yourself.
Yeah, I love this story because it shows like so much how fast you have to be. This is like, okay, we do something, I call someone, yeah, I got you, the day after, partnership. This is crazy. This is what we are living in now.
Except, we had planned it for about 3 months out, but...
So that's crazy. So maybe can you talk a little bit about, do you have any specific challenge today? Because you guys have really mastered like engaging the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha audiences, but any remaining like challenges with this audience that you still find like difficult to address?
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, like speed is key. And I think it's really important to hire the right kind of people and experts that live and breathe in that. So we've done a really great job of empowering our employees to basically be their own experts in the space. So we tweet things like very current and I guess what's the word I'm thinking of, but like relevant to the moment. And honestly, like if it hits, it's fantastic. If it doesn't, then we just move on. We don't really take it too seriously because there's just no time. So I think it's been really important for us to almost remove a lot of the red tape and just take chances. Obviously I screen things and we're not just tweeting out like insane stuff, but some of it's insane. But we take a lot of chances, but it's just about being efficient and speedy because that's just how fast you have to move. But you really have to empower your team to have the trust in order to take those chances.
And I know when we prepared this session, you talked about something very interesting, some challenges with the technology as well, because the Gen Z and Gen Alpha are isolated, but they want to be part of a community. They want to be together. And you said like technology can help them, but sometimes it's hard to find these technology tools to make them come together.
Yeah. One big trend that I've really noticed is IRL streaming. So I was just at TwitchCon this past weekend, and I think maybe 1 out of every 3 people was live streaming their experience there. To some people, to audiences of 8,000 people, some people to audiences of 5. But we've had really great success, and this is just something that we're trying to move to, is this idea of IRL and allowing our fans to connect with our creators and our brand in real time. Last year, just off of a tweet from Nate Schott, he tweeted a joke about, like, what if I had 12 hours to hit a hole in one, or I'd go to jail? Like, could I actually do it? And then so we scrambled and made an event called Nate Schott's Hole in One, and we live streamed the whole thing. We picked a hole, and he had 8 hours essentially to try to hit a hole in one. Brought guests in, sat on a couch and would chat through it. So he wasn't just hitting balls the entire time, but he actually did it in, I think, like 79 shots in the first 2 hours, way faster than we had even anticipated. But then we were able to fill time by just chit-chatting. He had friends that were also trying to hit the hole in one, but it's just creating these super authentic experiences. And I say authentic a lot, but it really is key for our fans, because they want that parasocial relationship. They want to feel closer to, their favorite creator and things like that, because I think Gen Z and Gen Alpha in general, technology is so isolating. So they feel alone in a lot of different ways. And so the way that they can connect with their favorite creator is through these IRL experiences, because they can say something and then get instant feedback, right? And you can hold their attention for hours. And that's more than what a lot of like traditional media can even hope for, right? So there's a lot of opportunities for brands to be a part of those IRL experiences and really make a difference to their audience.
So authentic was what you have to be today, and create proximity what you have to do tomorrow to continue to engage them. That makes sense. So what is the next goal? What is the next vision for 100 Thieves? What is next in the pipeline for you guys?
Yeah, I think for us, it's expansion outside of the United States. We haven't really looked, to Europe, to Korea, to Japan. We have growing audiences there because our teams play international. They go to international events. But we don't really have strong ties to any of those things. So I think our goal in the next couple of years is really to start establishing ourselves there, but not just in a way where we say, hey, we're here. It's, again, going back to that, creating authentic stories, creating narratives within the space and with our audience there. So it's signing creators there and starting to help them build their own ways of connecting with their fans and helping them do that. Or bringing on partners that also kind of authentically allow ourselves to be more part of the local culture there. So I think that's really the next step for us in the next 2-3 years, because I think we've done a really good job of establishing ourselves here in North America, but we really want to think bigger.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love when company take the steps to becoming global. And I am going to become global with the same story. Do I need to adapt my story and then test and learn?
Yeah, we really believe in a crawl, walk, run approach. We don't want to just start sprinting where we show up. We really want to lay a foundation similar to the Crocs idea, but we just want to create that story, and we're not in a hurry to do it because we've just found that our fans connect with it way better if we take our chance and really build along the way.
That's awesome. Good luck. And then to wrap up our session today, maybe what will be the top 3 quick recommendations that you can give to marketers to really engage with Gen Z and Gen Alpha?
Yeah, so obviously authenticness and being authentic to your brand and your partners is super important. Creating that narrative and purpose is super important for us. And then strengthening your community, whether that's through IRL streams, we do a lot of watch parties, so we give them a lot of opportunity to not just engage with us online, but there's still that craving for in-person events and experiential things. So we do block parties, watch parties, we'll do creator meetups and things like that. So we want to give them as many opportunities to engage with us, not just digitally and through Discord is really big. So we have a very large Discord community that we do a lot of things for. And we basically just try to give them as many options as possible.
Well, that's awesome. Daniel, thank you so much for being here today and talked about Gen Z and Gen Alpha. I think I need to give the mic back to David for the next session.
Yeah,
let's
sure.
do that. That's awesome. Any questions from the public?
Oh, I see who has their hand up.
Hi there, Christina Amaya with Riot Games Events. Hi, DK. My question to you is, right now we're seeing a lot less of Gen Alpha and Gen Z at events. Most of the attendance is millennials. How do we get them to come out and engage more with the content that we have?
That's a great question. Thank you. I think it's giving them accessibility and ease, because I think, to your point, a lot of them have a hard time leaving their house. Just from what I've noticed, it's just so easy to engage with their favorite creators online, so you really do have to go out of your way to give them a purpose, whether that's offering them something that they can't get anywhere else. We do a lot of that through our watch parties and engagement opportunities. So it's the carrot has to be worth it for them, and so we really try to listen to our community, but also, and you taught me this, doing digital extensions of your physical events, right? So when we do a summer block party, we try to find a way to live stream it for people that can't be there, but also create those FOMO moments to where they wish that they were there. Whether that's, meeting Nate Shot at our summer block party, or giving away 100 Thieves Crocs that you just can't get anywhere else. They might not make it there that time, but they're going to remember that and go out of their way to make it the next time. I mean, we've had fans drive from Arizona for an apparel pop-up that we've done with Pokemon. I mean, we sold out in 2 seconds online, but they wanted to actually feel that sense of community and meet with their friends there. And so he drove, I think, 17 hours overnight, and we had only announced it 2 days before the pop-up. So you have to really challenge yourself to create those moments for them.
Yeah, I agree. And just one more thing on that. I see a lot, especially in Europe, an event is not more like one day at one location. It's not an event anymore. An event is at least one day at the location, plus it's streaming in real life, plus there is a documentary about it after. Then the broadcasters are picking up on that. And now I think you need to start thinking about an event is a temple moment for them, and then play with all of the media around them at the same time.
Hi, my name is Danielle Fox. I'm the director of marketing at Daniel's competitor org, FlyQuest. So drama. My question for you is, 100 Thieves is known for being a very prestigious and refined brand. You have a very distinct voice online. How do you navigate the testy waters of the unique way that Gen Z and Gen Alpha communicate online?
Careful strategy, just the highlight.
No, it's careful curation, but also, like you said, being true to who we are, and taking risks, but not being afraid to fail. Because even when we're failing, we're still learning, just like the traditional saying, right? There's no such thing as failure. There's just learnings. But I think empowering our team to take those chances and learn from them is super important. You won't always have a banger tweet or, some really impressive content. But as long as we're continuing to put that content out there, learn from it, and then switch it up the next time to see what hits, then I think we'll continue to find success.
Eric Alberg with Riot Games Social. For a brand like 100 Thieves, also proud Gen Z, how do you guys stay innovating and finding inspiration for the next activations or partnerships that you guys do?
Yeah, so I take a twofold approach. It's like following trends, going to events myself that I'm not necessarily a part of, and learning from other brands. I'll try to attend TwitchCon and see what other people are doing with their experiential. I'll try to go to BlizzCon. I'll try to go to, just pop culture events and just see what is attracting fans, and then also tapping into nostalgia. So I know for me as a millennial, I don't even know. I think I'm millennial. I feel like a Gen Z every day, but a millennial. What connected me to the movie Air is that sense of nostalgia, and so very soon you're gonna have these opportunities of nostalgia for Gen Z and Gen Alpha, and so I find myself trying to go back to those moments of, like for me, it's like, you'll see Steve from Blue's Clues like doing videos, and you'll really connect with those kinds of things. But they're about to have these kinds of moments too, and so it's identifying some of that nostalgic stuff. So not necessarily always trying to look forward, but also looking backwards to what they connected to when they were younger, and finding ways to integrate that into your brand but make it unique to yourself.
And I'm also a millennial. My airline is telling me that I am, so great. I think also to answer your question, for the first time ever, I think marketers realized that we have to listen to you guys. Like, I think before we were all thinking, we are so smart, we know everything about everyone, this is great. But this is not the case anymore. You guys drive, you are in the driver's seat. Now we really need to come to you and ask you, what do you want? And we have to execute it. This is how now you have to be part of us. And it's not only us decided for people. So that's a big shift.
And I think that's why things like Discord, the NFL just launched their Discord, but I think Discord is a really great tool for things like this because you get real-time feedback, right? So we posted our super team, about an hour ago, and I can go into our Discord right now and I can see what all of our fans are chatting about in real time, because we've provided that for them. We've provided that sense of community for them, and then we benefit from it because we get real-time feedback on every little thing that we do, negative or positive, but we can kind of make those like real-time adjustments.
Any other questions? No? But thank you so much, guys, for those questions. Daniel, thank you so much for being here and
Thank you.
and explaining everything. And then